All right, Mikey Jr., CM Punk, Drew McIntyre. We're probably halfway there in the middle of their feud. Has it lived up to the high expectations that this feud would garner on paper?
Definitely, for sure. I think they've been brutal. They've been physical. They've been killing each other verbally. It hasn't missed. For me, I don't think it's missed. I think it's been perfect to a T. Punk screwing Drew bloodying up Punk in Chicago. Like, it's personal. They haven't missed.
Yeah, there's a few holes that you could kind of nitpick for sure.
Yeah.
Or they would definitely give you an inch to run with a mile on a few things, like the bracelet. It's a little wonky, but I like the purpose that it serves. It's a reminder of when CM Punk wasn't there, for Drew to kind of dangle that carrot over his face. It's sentimental in a way, but for that to be the structure of the first match and the transition to like the finish, little weird. But then you have to add the Seth Rollins mix into it. So that first match overall, I thought was pretty good. Not very good, but pretty good. I felt that there was like a few, perhaps, like I said earlier, inches to run with miles on mishaps. But overall, I thought it served its purpose. I thought it was a really good idea to kind of have Seth out there in the first match, because now you can continue Seth and Punk when that time calls for it, right? Especially with Punk returning, getting in the mix with the Money in the Bank, having all that hoopla, the previous history with Drew at WrestleMania, the previous history with Punk dating back to the Survivor Series, and then the history of SummerSlam with Brett, Taker, and Shawn, right? It was kind of cute, but maybe a little cute by half, but I understand why they did it. And of course, this is probably going to be a 3-match series. So for a first match, yes, a little disappointing, but I still thought it was very good, even though because the bar is super, super high. Punk's performance, your boy was a little gas, but as you can allude to, I'm sure, Mikey, you go put on 30 pounds of muscle to look like you're in the WWE main event instead of the AEW mid card, right? And your first singles match in over a year, coming off the tricep injury, father time, little nerves. Yeah, he did get blown up a little bit, but I think, he'll work on his cardio, work on all the thing that, and he's not going to be a CM Punk of 2012 in ring, right? But I think that a ghost of CM Punk in 2024 is still very, very good as an in-ring competitor. So I agree with your sentiment that it is, I would say, pretty good. You know what I mean? Because the expectation's so high. I agree with your positive overall sentiment with this feud for sure. Now, do you agree that this is the second match within the feud?
Yeah. Yep, for sure.
All right. Do you feel that they have been long in the tooth a little bit, or you were there last night when CM Punk did the Instagram live, jumped out of the ring and started whipping him with the strap? Do you feel that, all right, they're kind of getting to the tail end of this, they're kind of running out of steam, or do you still think that visceral heat was still there?
I think the heat's still there. I think what they did last night was great because, listen, they've talked so much. They've talked, They've been verbally killing each other. Now we want to see more physical on TV. I think that's the biggest thing that this feud's been missing, just more physicalness, and they gave it to us last night. Punk beating the crap out of Drew with the strap and then having him run. Like, that's what we need. That's going to add more fire to this feud rather than just verbal jousting from the two. I think more fighting, more brutality. Then when it really comes to it, then we can get real personal towards the third match. But I think what they did last night was great.
Yeah, it's a little unconventional of a feud, right, to start with, right? Because you had CM Punk with the tricep injury, and they really had this subsection of a feud built off the WrestleMania feud on that pivot, all the nuance of the backstage stuff. So there was like a lot of like weirdness, but I think it totally worked. Now, I feel that this match needs to be a little bit better for like the potential to live out, because this has potential to be feud of the year, right? The groundwork is laid out. The heat has been tremendous. The mic work has been great. It has elevated Drew McIntyre.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yep.
The star power of CM Punk now has dwindled, of course, a little bit, right? But that's because he's on TV every week. He's not coming off that massive return. There's a little tarnished on his name due to the injury and the perceived old guy, right? And the history of injuries. So some of that stuff has come to light, but what hasn't come to light is his attitude. He's been an excellent team player by all reports within the WWE. It came out that he was signed to a very, very short-term incentive-based deal, And they've kind of ripped that up and kind of gone in the new direction. Was like, yep, Phil's in, we're in, this works out. The vibes are good. There's, we're grown-ups. We've grown past the past issues, and let's go make some money and have some ultimate fun. So that's overall how I feel. Now, I do agree with a little bit of the sentiment that CM Punk maybe isn't what he perceived to be, but I think that he is heading towards another direction come 2025, come Netflix. I think he is going to be on the other side of the fence. This return run of a returning baby face, we're so happy he's back. I think he is so itching to turn heel, because when CM Punk has a gripe, that is when he's at his best, right? And his gripe within Drew McIntyre shows that, right? His gripe within Seth Rollins shows that. But there's times where happy-go-lucky Punk isn't the CM Punk that we really want to see, right? It's the CM Punk that is fine. It's the CM Punk that is a big star. But if he wants to make that big money and be that legacy star that he is and have real jump up moments on this return, I think he's going to turn heel. But that's in the total distant future, right? I think that's early 2025, around that time. So for right now, I think the goal is for him to go out with this strap match, because again, it's like SummerSlam. It's another gimmick match where it's safe for Punk. He can take his rests. It's unconventional. There doesn't need to be a decisive winner so we can get to the third match, right? So I feel that this strap match is the perfect gimmick for the second match. Do you agree?
I guess with the new stipulation, I think so. He'll still be beat up a little bit with the strap, but I do think with the new, you got to touch the four corners rather than the pinfall. I think that'll definitely work in his favor, and be able to take his rest and recover while getting his ass kicked by Drew. But I think it's a good match for him. I think the gimmick works, and I think it fits him well.
Pretty much, you got to touch all four corners to win the match. It's no DQ, no pinfalls, no countouts, all that stuff, no submission. So it's anything goes, but it's like weirdly restricted because you're strapped to your opponent with a leather strap with your wrists at both ends of it. So there has been some great leather strap matches in the history of this company. My mind goes instantly to JBL and Eddie Guerrero for the WWE Championship in Los Angeles, 2024, I believe. Unforgiven. I might be a little bit off there, but I believe that JBL wins the title here, and he touches all four corners. Guerrero loses pints and pints of blood. I'm not sure we'll get that, this time around, but I do think we're going to get some brutal 2024 levels of violence here.
I think they go third match. That's when they're going to get real brutal. I think that's when we're going to get some real blood.
Yeah, and this could be a prelude to that. Exactly. All right, so you hinted on it. The third match, do you think it's going to be at Bad Blood, and like this whole series of event is built around that Bad Blood name in Atlanta? Do you assume the Hell in a Cell, or do you think we get another stipulation? What do you think we get for Bad Blood?
They haven't used Hell in a Cell in a while. I think they're going to use it on this one just because the Bad Blood, a little cliche with a few name, but I think it works out in this favor because, look at all the other feuds in WWE now. What feuds have this type of heat to them? I think this fits the mold perfectly.
Yeah, you could see maybe Solo Roman. There's some bad family blood there, but I'm not sure.
I think they go to Roman before they go solo and Roman, though.
All right. So, what is more interesting? Is it interesting if Punk wins this match, touches all four corners, and the gripe is Drew McIntyre pinned CM Punk at SummerSlam, even though Seth Rollins had to do with the finish? Or do you think it's more of a gripe that Drew McIntyre wins again? He proclaims that he's done with CM Punk, and that CM Punk just ignites that bad blood and this hate to one more match. What do you think is more of an interesting pivot for the third match?
I think you go Punk winning here, because I think you have Punk win here. I think there's much more unpredictability to that third match, rather than you go 1-1. I couldn't tell you who's going to win that third, because whoever wins has got to have a push after this. So I don't know who would win in this situation if it's 1-1. If it's 2-1, then obviously Punk's going to win the third. they're not going to have Punk go 0-3 in his first real feud back.
Yeah.
But I think the unpredictability of that third match is what's really going to add some more heat to this. You know, they're going to have that same promo of like where Punk is happy, like what Drew did when he won SummerSlam. He comes back, he's all happy. Then Punk tries to fight him. Punk's going to be all happy-go-lucky. He's going to be, you know, oh, I beat Drew McIntyre. But he might bring up, it's 1-1. We got to settle this. And then Drew's going to, you know, probably beat his ass or something that night. And I think that's what's really ignite that real heat. We've been dying for it. Not as if there's some real good heat to this, but I think that's going to kick it to the next level. I think you have Punk win here. And then, I think the heat's going to go next level if it's 1-1. And then the unpredictability kicks in, and that's when people get real intrigued.
Yeah, I think that there should totally be climaxing at that third match in Atlanta for sure. But do you think that the Bash and Berlin strap match will kind of out-punt the very good SummerSlam match that we got?
I think with a stipulation, these two are going to tear the house down. So I think it'll definitely be better than the SummerSlam match for sure. I still think it was a good match. It could have been better, as you said. There's some story parts to it that weren't great, but I think like this will be pretty solid. I think will definitely top that. It won't have the involvement of Rollins, you know, trying to take some of the spotlight. So I think it'll just be a good old fashioned, you know, these two just kicking each other's asses. I think that'll add to it, and it'll just be really the focus on these guys.
Now, will we see the bracelet again, or are they done with that?
No, we're going to see it again. Unfortunately, I don't really care for it. I think at first it was good, like adding the personal family aspect to it, but now it's kind of like, dude, it's a friendship bracelet, like, and you guys are grown men.
There is a little bit to that, but I do think we're going to get a payoff with that friendship bracelet, and I think that Drew loses the match, but kind of keeps the bracelet, right? And then that's the kind of that there, but I agree. Punk should win this match, so we have more intrigue for that 1-1 look ahead for number 3. And I don't know. I'm a little nervous with the stip, a little nervous for CM Punk really to go out there and kind of live up to the hype and the expectation of a great match. And I'm more nervous than not, but I still think that within the structure of a strap match, they will totally be fine. All right, Mikey, I got a question for you. This song, banger or not? Have you heard it? No?
This is horrible.
That's the theme song here. It's got a lot going on in there. I personally like it. There's a lot going on there. You haven't heard, that was the techno part. You got a metal part, you got a pop part.
Yeah.
There's a lot going on in that song. So
might lose a couple viewers because of that.
That's why we did it at the end. So, All right, Mikey, I'm looking forward to your post-grad year and going to College of Amherst. Did I say it right?
There you go.
All right, buddy. Good shit. All right, Mikey, it was good to have you on, and we'll see you on the next one, bud.
Pleasure's mine. See you later.